G'day everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Monday the 28th of July. As always, there will be timestamps in the description if you just want to skip through to one thing in particular. You just don't want to listen to all the shit. So, this set, if you have Summerset, it's okay, because deconstructing jury, you need to have Summerset in order to do this. If you've got it, it's fine. These three here aren't too bad, but if you don't, and you absolutely won't take no for an answer for getting all 45 seals today, one of the options you're going to have to choose is fucking dog shit. These two here fucking suck compared to these three here. For the same amount of seals, it is like so ridiculous putting these in the same category as these three here. Just, you can do these three here, log out, do these three here on another character before you could probably do one of these two. They're just so fucking bad for like time. Anyway, so this one's not too bad, I suppose, but it's like 30 minutes, I would say, at least, getting through 4 cycle bosses. So I'll start with these three here. Jury is pretty straightforward. My preferred way to do this is you need 16 pewter ounce, and you craft your jury. As many as you need. Obviously you need 8, and then you just select them and deconstruct them. That's one method to do this, but obviously you need the pewter for that. Another thing you can do is you can do domins, and every single domin that you complete will give you a piece of jewelry. So 8 domins, that's 15 minutes or so. I would wager that still would be faster than this, even if you have to do these options too. You'll still probably do it quicker than fucking these two here. That's how fucking much I hate these ones. They're awful. So the other option is, if you can get some pewter dust, refine that into pewter, like pewter ounce, you'd need 20, and you'd need between 20 and 30. The issue is, each time you refine 10 pewter, it can be anywhere between 7 and 10 ounce. So if you get 7 and then you get like less than 9 in the next one, you won't have enough to do it, and you have to find some more pewter. So yeah, that's just something to consider. So if you need some pewter, just look through guild stores. That's the quickest way to find some if you've got a little bit of gold to spend. But for example, this one's here. Oh, Devon's Watch Trade. What a lore-friendly name. So jewelry crafting material, and you just look here and you'll probably find some pewter. For 12 gold, it's maybe a bit too much. Whenever you look through stuff in guild stores, just keep an eye on the unit price, not the total, because the total could be really low, but you could be paying way too much for a single item of that type. So yeah, look for anything that's about 7.5 to 8 gold a piece, and anything lower, obviously. So an added bonus of doing dolmens today is we've also got treasure chests. If you want to do 2 treasure chests, you can do 2 dolmens. That's one method, so I'll just show you that. There'll only be an initial problem if you haven't got any dolmens unlocked. Just going and getting the waste runs nearby to make this quicker is it's going to be one thing. And when you get here, you might or might not see a bunch of people. The premise is you kill enemies, their souls fill up these pinions, and when they open up, you can close them. And that sort of progresses the dolmen. At the end, there'll be an enemy that spawns here, like a boss, and there'll be a bunch of add-on enemies. You don't have to get much, you don't have to do much here, even if you, as long as you're in combat in this, usually it works. As long as you've, damaged one thing, it's usually okay. So once that's done, somebody hits the pinion in the middle, the chest will form, and then you can just loot this. And that's one chest. And yeah, so you can see we've got a jewelry piece, we can deconstruct that to progress the jewelry crafting endeavor. So you can see what I mean. So you can do 2 at once. But yeah, still I would probably do, you've got other options for chests anyway, if you don't want to, if you're not going to have any issues with jewelry deconstruction. Let's go through the other 2 options. So one is to, while you're going and getting some pewter ounce, you could also look for some treasure maps. So go to another guild store. So in miscellaneous, we go to trophy, we look to treasure maps, or select the treasure map option. These here, the treasure maps that you get for these also count. Now, if you can, choose the trainee zones over the others if you don't have many waste runs unlocked, across the map. because these ones are reliable regardless. Because, for example, Blickrock here, this zone is very small. There's one race shrine, and this takes you within a minute. You can get from to any section of this this map. Same thing with Valfoyen, same thing with Betnik. You would have seen that name and one of the treasure maps just there. Stros Mackay and Canarthus Reefs. These are all pretty quick to get to, all around the place to get treasure maps. Artaeum is good too if you've got Summerset, but yeah, obviously you need to get that first. So there's a lot of stuff out there to help you find treasure maps if you don't want to have to look for them yourself. One's an add-on called Lost Treasure. It puts this X marks the spot on the map for you so you can find them easier. If you're on console and you don't have access to add-ons, I think older consoles don't have add-on access now. If that's the case, there are websites that you can look up. So I'll give you an example here. So here's an example, right? So you're looking for Betnik treasure maps. You can just click on this image here, and it'll show you all the treasure map locations. So in this case, we've got treasure map 2, so you just find it down here. So normally, my choice for treasure maps, or treasure chests, is to use public dungeons, because you can find a lot of these things all over the place. So this is Labyrinthian. I'm just going to show you the map in a second, because I've found all the locations for the chests, I'm pretty sure. So you can see all these chest locations are pretty easy to get to, like run between. And there's usually like a couple of chests up at any given time. Like they spawn pretty quick after looting one. So if I just come up here, there should be one around here somewhere. So either here, yeah, there you go. There's one there, and then there's another one down there, for example. So I will put this in the description, an Imgur image post to show you all these locations, and also the ones on the inside. I will also have one for some other more common dungeons that people will probably go to. Forgotten Crypts, I've got the chest locations for that. Riven Spire, I've got the chest locations for Obsidian Scar, and then for Vankrai in Rezek's Wheel, I've also got all the chest locations for that. Most of them. I think I've missed a couple in Rezek's Wheel. But, yeah, basically all of them. They all have like various things that I find useful. Like Western Scrime, for example, has Venomous Smite, which is a really good proc set that I tend to use for my damage dealer builds. Interesting. Alright, Storm Atronach time. So this thing here, this is a Storm Atronach. So this here in Craglorn's probably the best place to go to find a bunch of these quickly. So this location here, the north side of Spellscar. There's about 10 or 15. Unfortunately, there's no good instanced ways to get a bunch of Storm Atronachs quickly. Like there's maybe a dungeon or two that has a few, but you have to go through the whole dungeon basically to get to them. Tempest Island is one, but I wouldn't really bother with that. I personally just use the overland options because yeah, there's not that many. Oh, this takes ages. So yeah, this spot here, easiest way to get to this location is probably to use Hackfield's High Hall through Home Tours, if you haven't been to Craglorn before. If you already have been and you have Belcarth, that's probably quicker though than using Hackfield's. So you can just travel up here, go a bit north, and then through here, get the Sway Shrine as well, and then you've just got easy access here. Not the only option though, I'll go through the other ones, but they're about as busy. Alright, one of the other options for your Storm Atronachs, wow, I didn't even get that one, fuck's sake, is this area here, Willow Grove. It's just south of the actual town, near Willow Grove Cavern over here. So this section here, there are about 6 or so, I think, here. These ones are weaker than the ones in Craglorn. They take less time to kill, so you'll find that killing them, like getting any participation on them, is more painful than the ones in Craglorn. So, but yeah, this option is here. If it's less busy, maybe this might be a decent one. Quickest way here, I'd say, would be using this one. I know this one looks a little bit closer, but there's a big elevated section here that might be a pain in the ass to get through. And there's like water here too, so probably Serenity Falls Estate here. Use this via Home Tours, just come down the road here, start making your way down, get the Sway Shrine, and then you basically go up to Willow Grove, and then there's like a couple of sections up here that you can go to get up to Willow Grove. But yeah, there's more elevated sections up here. Now, today, there's a lot good about having access to Summerset, not just for jewelry crafting, but Summerset, I believe, has the best spot for finding a bunch of Storm Atronachs, but best is relative, I guess. It could still be really... Oh, God damn it. It could still be really busy. Because, yeah, like I said, there's no real good overland areas. You could find one in Infinite Archive if you do that route, or two maybe. But the odds of that, like, finding one are... Like, there's a lot of other enemy types that you might find there. And, you know, there's only one type of Storm Atronach, so... Yeah, I don't know. That probably won't be very reliable, I'd say. Okay, so this is Sunhold. This is a public dungeon found in Summerset. It's on the very southern side. Getting here is a fucking pain in the ass at first, because the closest thing is literally Shimmerine all the way up here. So you have to go around... I think you can go here, though. Maybe over here-ish? Yeah, you can cut a bit of it, come through here, and then get to Eastern Pass, run down the road here, get to Sunhold Wayshrine, and then you've got easy access from that point. But just the initial run-through is a bit of a pain. So the reason we are here is because there are sea elves here, and if you're familiar with the lore of sea elves, they are masters of the storm. So to get to where we need to go, we are looking for like the more southwestern half of the public dungeon. So it doesn't really matter which direction you choose to go. Both of these ways will basically lead you eventually to all the Storm Atronach. What I usually do though is I come down here. And then usually you can start finding them up here, up these stairs. So again, the odds... Yeah, here we go. Here's some Storm Atronachs. You can see a few here. So unlike these normal Storm Atronachs, these are a lot weaker, but you can find them in pretty large groups at times. You can find 5 of these things in just like a couple of pools worth of enemies. Again though, it's overland, and as you can see here, sometimes people come through and kill everything, and you're just going to have to wait for shit to respawn. There's no other option but to just be patient. You'll be maybe... Oh yeah, someone's doing the same thing over here. We'll just get a bit of participation on that one, and then there's just one Storm Atronach here, and we're done. Yeah, usually the amount of time it takes for things to respawn, I think it's 5 minutes. I haven't really timed anything. I should really do that one of these days. But just assume it's about 5 minutes. Which, even if you had to wait 5 minutes for 5 different fucking Storm Atronachs, that is still gonna be fucking quicker than these ones here. One thing to note, the group event, this guy does spawn some. I think he spawns over 5. So that is sort of a single area way to just get a bunch of these. But yeah, just this section here, the later half of Sunhold, you'll find Storm Atronachs all over the place. You'll find Storm Atronach bears, you'll find Storm Atronach benches, and you'll find the regular big Storm Atronach, like walking humanoid looking ones. I'm sure there's other places. If you've got any other areas with lots of Storm Atronachs you can recommend, let me know. But I really don't think there's many that hold a candle to this one. Right. Last of the... Well, I'll talk about both of these, but... this one here, it's not really worth saying anything because you don't need to be able to perform at all to get this one done. All you need is 1, to have a guildmate, and 2, to just do the Battlegrounds, because it doesn't matter if you win or you lose. This one will progress. So just kind of waiting for the battleground and doing it is kind of all that you need. So I guess you just kind of need a keyboard and a mouse. So I will put in the description if you want some guides on like doing Battlegrounds well. I'm not the person to talk to. It's not my area of expertise. So I'll put that in if you want to learn. But yeah, basically it's just PvP with some like objective-based gameplay. Sometimes it's just killing enemies. Sometimes it's capturing flags. Sometimes it's like holding like a ball that kills you slowly. as long as you can. That's kind of how you get points. It's all like interesting game modes like that. But yeah, it just, for me, this one takes the longest because waiting for that many players can take ages. So what I will do is I'll go through just like how to do a cycle real quick, but I just want to mainly show you that it's very easy to make your own guild. I wouldn't really bother too much with like a big guild unless you're already in one, like an established one. What you can do instead, if you need a guild right now, go to Guild Finder, press the G key, you'll find it here, creating and joining guilds, hit this one, and then create a guild. Now you can literally just jam your head on the keyboard, like that. And as long as the... Oh, my screen turned off again. Alright, there we go, it's back. So, I'll just make it like this, I'll create it, and yeah, so there we go. We got a guild with a gibberish name that I use by jamming my forehead on the keyboard. So, that's all you have to do to make a guild. And now, you go to roster, add member, and we've got our friend here right next to us. So, this is my other account, right? And, you know, it's kind of I guess a bad act of faith to just use two of my own accounts here, but the other thing I wanted to show you with this doing Infinite Archive is you don't need an extra player. Like they can. I want to show you that there is no like performance matters. The other player can be dead the whole time, and you can still carry this on your own. Like Doom-Man Infinite Archive is, especially in the first arc, is pretty easy. Obviously, if you're just rolling in as like a pair of level 10s with no gear, it's not going to be fucking smooth sailing. But if you're at that point, my advice would maybe just be to enjoy the game. Don't worry about endeavors for the moment, unless they're like really easy. But yeah, I don't know. At that point, you probably can't. It's probably going to be annoying doing the other ones anyway, right? So, alright. So in this case, I'll invite the other person, so their name is... you can either go by their character name, or you can do it by their @name. So in this case, it's Non-Domine. I'll send that. They'll get an invite for that. They just have to accept it. And voila, they're in the guild now. So as soon as you've hit this point, now you should go into Infinite Archive. My advice is don't go into Infinite Archive, and don't be in a group yet until you've made the guild, because I've had issues in the past where I've done stages and cycles in the Infinite Archive, but I made the guild when I got in there instead of before, and it hasn't counted. So just make sure you do this shit before you get into Infinite Archive, or at least leave the archive, ungroup, and then go back in, just to be sure. Alright, so now we head in. So the only good thing here is, unlike the Jury one, it doesn't require any DLC. You go to Apocrypha here. Despite this needing Necrom, the actual Infinite Archive is a base game thing. So even though it's in Necrom, you can still travel here via Wayshrine, regardless of what DLC you own. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you don't have access to Jury. Alright, while I'm waiting for this character to travel in, you can grab the quest if you want, because 4 cycles is basically all the way through Infinite Archive. You're going to get pretty close to Thelite Replicanum if you get to that stage. Now, sometimes there are bosses that are a fucking pain in the ass to deal with, especially in the first arc where they're really low health. So killing them too fast can actually make it and sometimes make it impossible. Like, for example, the Celestial Warrior, if you kill him super fast, he spawns all his adds like within a couple of 10 seconds, and all the adds together are just like way too much for you to deal with, especially in his second phase. But yeah, it just depends. It's completely random. Sometimes you get pushover bosses, sometimes you get ones that are just a fucking menace. Alright, so I won't grab the quest in this case, because I just want to do a few cycles just to show you how it works. Otherwise, I don't want this coming out in fucking 2 years. Okay, before you start, sometimes it won't bring both characters through the door if you go through it. I don't know why, but just make sure the other person is actually in the stage or the cycle with you, because if they're not, it won't count. I don't think it matters for the actual stages, but definitely for the boss fights, you're going to need to make sure they're in the room with you. So yeah, I don't know why that happens. Sometimes it just doesn't want your character in for some fucking reason. Alright, so every time Infinite Archive first starts off, it's going to be straightforward. There's going to be... Every first stage, it's always 1 ranged enemy and 2 melee enemies. So the rule of thumb is to stack on the ranged enemy, because they try to avoid you, and then the melee enemies will come to you naturally. It just makes it easier to group everything up. These ghosts are a little bit of an exception, because one of their attacks fucking makes them gap close everywhere. It would be quite annoying to deal with. Alright, so every third wave of a stage, well not everyone, but majority of them, they will have one of these tougher enemies. This Lich, for example. So yeah, these enemies will be tougher, they'll take longer to kill. Normally I prefer to kill the little enemies first, but some of the big enemies can be a pain in the ass. Like, Liches are kind of annoying sometimes. Especially there's like the big Wraith, I'm trying to remember what they're called. The Pro Wraiths? Those things are really annoying too. Strange when they do this. Yeah, that's the archive for you. Right, so that's the first stage done. So that's 1 stage out of... yeah, 1 out of 8 so far that we'd need to do in order to get that many bosses. So every time you complete a stage, you get a verse. These are temporary powerful buffs. Some of these can be really good, some of these can be quite dog shit. Tomfoolery is good, especially with this, because you can, if you really want to make sure you got tons of ult for the next boss fight, you can just sit here like this and just like don't progress to the next part. Because what will happen is eventually, yeah, it'll just create this green circle. Every time it does this, you get 75 ultimate. So, you know, you can just chillax for a second if you want to, and it'll give you the all the ultimate that you'll ever need. So, fights will only start if you enter this circle. So until you enter that, nothing will happen. Okay, so we got melee enemies, ranged enemies. Let's make sure I've tapped these guys. The only issue is if you just leave the other... If I leave the other character long enough, I lose a life. And that kind of ruins things in the long run. Not that I'm going to be here for very long. Alright, that's another stage done. We got another verse. Frenzy Seal's pretty good. Increases your light attack damage. It's okay for boss fights, but not amazing. Alright, so now we get a boss. So this is a cycle boss right here. But anytime you see this like flower circle, this is a cycle boss. So the first boss will usually be pretty straightforward. But yeah, just dependent. There's definitely some that can be a fucking nightmare. But in majority of cases, especially the first boss, will be chill. But it's just your regular harvester. It's got your orbs that you want to destroy in before they get to her, so they don't heal her. You've got your ghosts on the ground that you can't block, so you got to be careful of those. So that's one boss. So you can see counted for 1 out of 4 there, and if we look at the other character, we get 1 out of 4, as you can see here. So you just have to do that 4 times. So it's pretty time consuming. But at least something like the other ones, it's like nothing outside that can impact it. It's just how fast you can do it. And you know, with a mate, you can kind of do this pretty quick, especially if you both have like a good damage dealer. So this is a vision. Visions are different to your verses. They are generally weaker, but they last the entire run. So until you leave. So they can be really good too, but again, some of them can be good, some of them can be fucking terrible. But yeah, don't forget the chest. You can go through the thing without grabbing it. Alright, so one of the worst, most annoying enemies in this archive will be the conduits that spawn. These guys are the things that apply negate to you. So if you're wondering, like the big circle that stops you from being able to cast magical skills, that's what conduits do. It's really annoying. Alright, that was much better. Mighty Bash Rebirth. Rewarding me if I do terrible. Yeah, if I get an interrupt on a boss, that might actually be pretty good. I'll see what the other character gets, though. These things here, these are coffee breaks, basically. They're mini-games. Completing them, you get some Archival Fortunes, you get another verse to use for the next boss fight. These have no... they're not worth doing if you just want to do cycle bosses as quick as possible, though. Because you'll never get a cycle boss from one of these. Alright, in we go. Alright, High Kinlord Realist, this guy's pretty straightforward. I'll just change one thing. Oh, it's Kinlord Realist 1, isn't it? Oh no, it's... I guess it's both of them at once. What the fuck? I thought that was gonna fucking launch me off the edge. So yeah, these things here, when they launch you up, whatever the color is, go to the corresponding rune on the ground to get rid of that. Now we'll see, be careful of heavy attacks, be careful of the thing he throws at you, that thing. Oh yeah, okay, he's making a Daedroth, and he's going to send me up. No, he's not, he's dead. I'm pretty sure that counts as a death for the archive. You get like the... Does that count as a thread weave or whatever? A thread of fate, or weave of fate, whatever the fuck? Doesn't seem like it. Alright, whatever. So, that's it. You just gotta do that another 2 times. Alright, so as you go through, enemies will get a little bit tougher. You'll get fabled enemies. They're like sort of Arcanist-themed enemies that do a bunch of things. Focus them first, because they do things like they make enemies immune to damage. They can like do negates or stuff of their own. And the bosses tend to get a little more advanced as you go. Some of them can be very obnoxious. Now, if you get to a boss that you're both stuck on and you're just not having a good time, you just want to fucking skip it, what you can do instead, take this to go back to the entrance, go over to this thing here, the hourglass, just hit this, and what this will do is it'll reset the archive. So when you leave, as soon as you come back, it will reset. You'll start from scratch, from the very beginning, so you can do your stages and then get cycles with like easier bosses. So if you don't want to deal with that shit, which I can honestly understand, because some of the bosses can be really obnoxious. Oh god, okay, my game just lagged big time there, that's weird. Alright, so that's Endeavours. I think I've explained enough. So, if you have any questions, as always, just give me a holler. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time. Weekly will be out soon. It's pretty bloody easy weekly, this one. But yeah, take care for now. I'll see you all next time.